It's another amazing time to be on with us on the program Law and You as we pan out a new episode, and we're going to be looking at defenses to crime on today's episode. You agree with me that in a society there are issues about crime and there is need to nip it in the bud. We have the role of the law enforcement agents, and of course we can't rule out the sacrosanct role of the legal practitioners. The program, like I said, is Law and You, brought to you courtesy of Noah Attorneys, a firm of legal practitioners, and based in Benin City, Nigeria. My name is Philip Omo Yupo, and today we have the managing partner of Noah Attorneys, a legal practitioner of repute, Dan Osa Ogbegie. Thanks for joining.
Thank you very much, Philip. Thanks for having me this afternoon.
All right, I must say it's been a big miss for some time now. Good to have you join now.
we try to come when we are able to also create the time
for
yes. This because of competing demands for our attention.
Of course, yes. Okay, let's hit the ground running. Let's look at defenses to crime, like the topic is all about. Let's have a background view of what defenses to crime is, with a special attempt on what crime is all about.
Well, this criminal prosecution is centered around the very critical constitutional provision of right to fair hearing, that no one should be condemned unheard, that every man or everyone, accused of a criminal offense is considered innocent until the contrary is proved in a competent court of law. So the constitutional provision to right to fair hearing also supposes that a person accused of a criminal offense must be taken to court within 24 hours. So he must not be held. His liberty must be guaranteed before taken to court, because before the law, he is still considered as innocent. And all facilities must be given to him, must be allowed to him for his defense. So you are not going to treat him as a criminal immediately. Otherwise, even real innocent people will suffer injustice, like we've seen in Nigeria. If you go to the various police stations, you go to the various law enforcement agencies, you go to EFCC, DSS, you see the way that they hound people who are merely, accused of a criminal offense. And sometimes some of them are held for days, weeks, and even months without trial, without they be taken to a court of competent jurisdiction.
Okay.
Because right now we have courts almost in every part of the country. There's hardly any part of the country where you don't have court. It was those days where they say, okay, maybe there's no court in this environment, and the law says, okay, 48 hours. If there's no court within 40,000 kilometer radius. But if it's Benin, you have a court in Benin. If you're talking about Eho, you have a court in Eho. Ekpoma, you have a court in Ekpoma. You have a court at Uromi, at Ubiaja, at Auchi. You have a court at Igara. You have a court at Afuze. You have a court at Sabogida Ora. Practically almost part of Edo State and in Benin. So nobody should be unjustly held by law enforcement agencies without being given opportunity to have their defense, or without, prosecuting them. And police cannot even arrest people. The police or the EFCC, they cannot even arrest and say, okay, we are keeping him until investigation. You must practically conclude your investigation then before you arrest the person. You can invite him for questioning. If a law enforcement agent comes to you or they invite you, you ask them if you are under arrest. They'll say, no, we just invite you for questioning. Okay, you can go. If you're under arrest, then you know that they cannot hold you for more than 24 hours.
Okay, before we delve deeper into that, for the purpose of getting our viewers properly, clear about
Acquainted.
what we're talking about.
Yes.
We look at crime, and we also hear of what is a civil offense or a civil wrong. Can you tell us what a crime is and how different it is from a civil wrong?
Yeah, well, a crime, what is a crime or a criminal offense, is defined in the criminal code of Southern Nigeria, and also have the penal code. When there is a deviation, if there is a particular act or law that says you should not do X, Y, and Z, and if you do X, Y, and Z, then you are guilty of an offense.
Yes.
Now, for instance, the crime of murder is defined by Section 316 of the Criminal Code of Southern Nigeria that many states in Southern Nigeria have not domesticated. It is defined in Section 316 Code that when you unlawfully take the life of another person, or when you are doing something illegal, and in the process of doing something illegal, another person dies as a result of your illegal acts that you are doing, then that is murder. And the punishment for murder, of course, was stated in Section 319 of same criminal code. So various acts, various law define specific crimes, and they're able to also prefer punishment, for those crimes. So offense is a deviation from a stated act, what you should do.
Okay.
If you do this, then it becomes an offense. It's just simple as that.
Okay, let's take, for instance, the disobedience of the traffic light,
Exactly.
regulations.
Yes.
Could you take that as a criminal act?
Yeah, where you
Or
you
is civil
can,
wrong?
where you can call it a quasi-criminal act, traffic offenses, of course. But we're not going to delve into that. We're talking about defenses to crime generally. The defenses available. And that's why I started with the various facilities that ought to be given to anyone accused of a criminal offense. And to the viewers, today we are going to talk about the defenses generally. Then from next Monday, we'll be talking about the specific defenses to each of the crimes, or
Okay.
each of the criminal offenses.
Okay, let's
But
situate it-
today we'll talk about them generally.
Generally.
Defenses available to anyone that is accused of a criminal offense.
Okay, you made mention
Yes.
of the fact that when one is seen as a suspect
Yes.
For a crime committed, he cannot be seen as guilty until a
Until
court of
it is
competent
proved.
jurisdiction
Yes.
convicts him
Exactly.
as that.
Yes.
Now, but let's look at situations like cybercrime, for instance, and linking to the use of cell phones or Android phones. We see it usually when
Yes.
most times we see law enforcement agents, stopping vehicles and asking for a search of their phones. Do they have the right to do that? Because I remember vividly that
Yes.
there was a time when the IG even said
I was even going to
critically.
state that, yes.
So can you lay
What the
background to
police
that?
do, what the police do in that regard is illegal. And of course, we know how the Nigerian police is, and we also know that we really need to carry thorough reform in the Nigerian police. We've seen situations where they see a young man, they suspect this young man, oh, this one must be
By
a
virtue of his
Yahoo.
identity, the way
And
his
it
hair
is not even
looks.
as though they are interested in the crime. In their mind, they want to take their own. And they harass a young man, and they force them to take money from them. Some of them even go around with POS. Some of them will take them to ATM. Nowadays, of course, no money in our ATMs, but they find ways to stop them and take money from them. But it is wrong. The Superior Police many times have stated that no any policeman that forcefully want to check your phone, don't allow them, find a way to report that policeman. And many Nigerians do not actually know that the police have a feedback mechanism where you can actually report police. They are actually trying. Police Service Commission, the Superior Police, the various ones. Do you know that policemen are dismissed practically on a regular basis in the Nigerian police? But it's just that many of them are not announced. You don't
Okay,
know.
but we know that there's
Many
a rule
bad
to that.
eggs in the police.
Okay, we know that there was a rule to that
Yes.
even when the IG said it. But again, are there not exceptional cases where the police could have a search warrant or where there could be
No, we will also
issues
talk
or
about that, so
intelligence
that-
reports
Yeah,
in a particular area
yes.
that would demand the police officer to stop vehicles and really go into
You
the
know, that is
nitty-gritty
a
of
different
looking at phones?
topic of its own, that
Okay.
particular question.
Okay.
But yes, there are instances where the police can do a stop and search. Then when they suspect that vehicle to, maybe there's a reasonable suspicion that it has been used to commit crime or a crime is about to be committed. And of course, in that regard, no matter how the police gets evidence, the evidence is admissible, no matter how they used to get it.
Okay.
Even if they don't use a court warrant, they get evidence in your phone. Of course, they can use that evidence against you. If their hunch tells them that, oh, we need to search this person's phone, even if it is illegal, but once they get evidence of criminality, of course, they can use it against
They have their way.
Yes. No, but, you know, we have to live in an orderly society. And it is because that we should live in an orderly society, that's why there are laws. And that's why the law is even more on the side of the accused person or the defendant in a criminal case. The law favors him more. Yes. Because in a criminal, you know, Nigeria is an adversarial justice system. You know, the burden of proof in a criminal matter or in a criminal proceeding lies on the state or lies on the prosecution to prove beyond reasonable doubt that the person accused of an offense actually committed that offense.
Yeah, or for which he's
But
accused.
proving beyond reasonable doubt is not to prove beyond all shadows of doubt. You have to prove beyond reasonable doubt that if a reasonable man will see it,
You must provide
that,
evidences.
oh, this person actually committed this offense. And you have to provide evidence, either in witnesses or evidence in terms of material evidence, in terms of fingerprint, for instance, fingerprint evidence, or maybe video evidence, audio evidence, something, pictorial evidence, something to show that this person actually committed the crime. Or either, maybe even through the confessional statement of the accused person. Or there's an eyewitness who says he or she was there. Yes, it was this person. I saw this person. And that eyewitness account, there's also somebody that corroborates that eyewitness account. I say, yes, actually, yes. I was also there when he did it. He was wearing this shirt. You know, so there have to be evidence sufficient
Okay.
to show that this person actually committed the crime.
Okay.
So the law, you know, the drafters of the law, in their wisdom, made it in such a way that no innocent person will be convicted. So the court or the judge will be looking at it, he'll be watching the demeanor of the accused person. He'll be watching the demeanor of the various witnesses. And he'll be able to come to a conclusion that, oh, this person did it or this person did not do it. But, you know, one of the greatest jurists that the common law countries, let me not say the world, you know, the common law countries have seen was the English jurist Lord Denny. He said in a certain case one time that the court will rather set free 1,000 criminals than to punish one innocent person.
Yeah.
So that's why the law is very careful to specify mechanisms to follow
Okay.
in reaching to that
The-
point.
the- the
So,
pro-
and that's why defenses also avail, because after the law says
Yeah.
that the burden, the onus of proof is on the state or the prosecution, in some courts, in lower courts, you have the police prosecuting. But in the superior courts of record, high courts and above, you have the state, the various Ministry of Justice, that is State Ministry of Justice or the Federal Ministry of Justice. So the burden is on them to prove beyond reasonable doubt. And once they have discharged their burden, then the defendant or the accused person now must now enter his defense and say, I did not do it, what the prosecution has shown is not the evidence. It will debunk the evidence. Sometimes they enter a no-case submission. So which means that the evidence of the prosecution is not strong enough. And there are no court will convict any accused person based on the evidence of the prosecution. Okay. So he will not need to call any witness. He will just say, no, that the court should look at the evidence of the prosecution and come to the conclusion that, oh, it was actually not strong enough to say that, to lead the court to believe that that person accused or the defendant actually committed the crime.
Okay, we'll come back there. Just in case you're just joining us, it's Law and You, and we are looking at defenses to crime. And I've been speaking with the managing partner of Noah Attorneys, a firm of legal practitioners based in Benin City, Nigeria. And the managing partner is Dan Osa Ogbegie, a human rights lawyer and a seasoned legal practitioner in that regard. In case you're just thinking of how to reach us, the numbers are on the screen for you to ventilate your opinions on, and make sure that whatever questions or issues that you want to ask or that you want to be clarified about, you pouch your responses to the numbers on the screen. I'll be doing justice to that. Let's quickly look at the aspect you made mention of, that yes, even if there are evidences, for instance, you know, the evidences must be strong enough. Like for internet fraud, for instance, yes, we are suspects.
Yes.
Because we keep seeing the Gen Zs always lining up, you know, over issues like this, and law enforcement agents usually pick them up, you know, for one reason or the other, even having their hairstyle in a different way that will make them look like, oh, this is a Yahoo boy, you know. Now, are you saying that even in such cases, such persons, you know, have a right to be heard in court?
Of course.
To be defended in court?
Of course.
Even when there are evidences?
What's the evidence?
And how do you make the evidences weak to make them free?
It is quite funny that our law enforcement, we must move away from the Stone Age. You cannot just, there is no, the same Lord Denny said that there is no art of knowing the mind of a man from the construction of his face. So that somebody is ugly does not mean he's a killer. That somebody looks fine
or has dreads
does not mean he's a Yahoo boy. So sometimes when they see a fresh boy, they see somebody with dread, they see somebody with earring, oh, he must be a Yahoo boy. They throw him into the vehicle. They try to harass him. They unsettle him and all of that. But all this they are doing, most of them that are not the police, is just to extort them.
Okay, but can such persons press for charges against such law enforcement agents?
But the issue that these guys have is that they are too scared to even push. And you know, somebody must cry for justice one day. There's law in Nigeria. I always tell people, many people think that, oh, Nigeria don't get law. But there's law in Nigeria. If you are ready to use the law will not use itself. It is somebody that will take the law and start using it. And that's what Gani Fawehinmi did for the most part of his life.
But when you say they are too scared to push, doesn't it give the impression that probably they are also guilty?
But we don't know. But we don't know. But the point is, until there is a proof in a competent court of law, and the court says, yes, you're actually guilty, you are innocent. And why would they subject you to those kind of harassments? Just to scare them. The police will never take any internet crime matter to court. One, they do never have the facilities. Oh. Yes. I'm not gloating.
This is Nigeria you're talking about.
No, the police do not have the facilities to be able to know who is a Yahoo boy or who is not. The police cannot, the police as presently constituted, cannot win a single case, Is it because
you feel that we are still deficient as per data?
Hold on, please. Let me let my thought out.
Okay.
Now, they cannot prosecute successfully a single case of internet fraud. It's even only the EFCC that has the training. But even they are also limited. And that's the reason why, as much as possible, they've tried to reform our laws to ensure that it will be easier for AFCC to prove any case of internet fraud against anyone involved in internet fraud. They are amending our laws. What they do, the AFCC, sometimes when they come, I just laugh. They'll say, oh, they've had 10,000 successful cases prosecuting internet fraud in Nigeria. I just laugh. They don't prosecute anything. What they do is just to harass the defendants to get them to sign plea bargain agreement. Many times I have declined several cases. I mean, they will come to me and say, well, I don't do plea bargain agreement. Let's go to court. Let them prove it. And most of them are not. They cannot. But the young men are scared. And sometimes some of them are not even involved in the internet fraud cases. But they just want to go home and rest.
So
some of them are doing other businesses.
So which
some of them are doing, because there are many businesses. There are thousands, hundreds of thousands of businesses you can do online that are genuine, that are legal. Okay, and many of them are involved in this.
But what you're saying now is that the weakness in them having the right facilities makes them not able to secure convictions.
Yeah, that's the Nigerian police. But the AFCC,
criminalize such suspects.
The AFCC has better facilities.
Okay.
And they have more cooperation from Nigerian banks.
And they've seen through convictions.
Yes, but most of the time, the cases are not, they are not full trial.
Oh.
It's plea bargain arrangement.
Okay.
The suspect, we will call it the defendant now, enter into a plea bargain agreement with the AFCC, they sign, and they put a lesser, an offense, they put another charge that has a lesser offense.
Okay.
So that maybe they just go 1 year imprisonment, 6 months imprisonment, we start counting from the day they were arrested. And sometimes they just walk on free.
Okay, what's your edge for those who have been caught in this web, like the suspects in the internet fraud saga that have been caught in this web? What's your urge for them in order to seek defense?
No, my advice is that if they are convinced that they are not involved in internet fraud, they should allow the FCC go and prove it. Because if...
But they need a legal
most often than not, if there's no complainant, it is hard to secure conviction.
Okay.
So you cannot just see somebody and say, oh, your phone has certain materials that looks like you are doing Yahoo. So you arrest the person.
It's not cogent enough.
So who did you not defraud? You have to bring the person that was defrauded.
Oh.
You cannot just say, oh, because your phone has certain materials. Or I saw, there was one time some years ago, my phone, somebody stole my phone. A taxi I entered many years ago, the driver took the phone away. And police arrested him. They were calling me, I didn't know. They came to my office and they said they were policemen. I said, oh, Dad, you stole my phone. Okay. Oh, my phone, I've been looking for it, this and that. They said, right now I should go with them to New Benin police station. I said, okay, I will go with you, but let me finish what I'm doing. And they said, no, I have to go with them. I'm under arrest. They said, no. Wait, I will come and meet you. I got there and they were going to harass me. They were looking at my phone. They said, who is Mark Williams? Who is this? All the foreign numbers they saw. I had to scream. What's wrong with you? I'm a lawyer. Can I have clients? They say, bros, now lawyers, they do this thing. Oh. Some of them be Yahoo, they use the outfit, they cover. Oh. You know, but the point is, it is hard for the police. The police cannot even sustain any criminal prosecution in the internet fraud. It's even the EFCC that can manage to. But even they themselves find it hard to do. And that's why they resort to having a plea bargain agreement with suspects.
Thank you so much, Dan Osa Ogbegie.
Thanks for having me.
Partner of Noah Artomis.
Yes.
And just in case you're having issues surrounding this, you are seeing the numbers on the screen. It's for you to react and send your responses to that. If you have any issues as that, you can easily reach those numbers for clarifications, and that will help you out in the challenges you are presently facing as regards the issues of what we've just mentioned as regards defenses to crime. My name is Philip Omo Gyupong. We do this same time next week. Bye for now.